What's up, champs? It's Langston2Live back with another reaction, and we got a mind blower because we got a CEO that has changed the way that he has branded himself in society, how he's been viewed from the younger generation or the generation that might know him. We all know this. We all know the CEO for owning lots of companies, and at one point was in court for being accused of monopoly. And playing a game that not a lot of CEOs can play. Well, we're talking about Mark Zuckerberg, and my man Pat CC has came out with a video called The Suspicious Rebrand of Mark Zuckerberg. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's check it out.
Mark Zuckerberg thinks he has you fooled. He has spent the past year suspiciously transforming his image from the geeky Silicon Valley genius to a red-pilled alpha bro. And all it took was one conversation on the Joe Rogan podcast to expose the evil intentions behind
all I'm saying
Zuck
is,
2.0.
Mark,
The third richest man in the world wants you to think he is just like you. He dresses like you.
Out of
he works
you is
out
definitely
like you.
the Joe
he likes to
Rogan
have
podcast.
fun and be silly like you. He even loves
what happened to his
family,
nose
just
there?
like you do. Oh, and most important.
Wait. I think Mark be doing like Taibo and shit like that, or maybe not Taibo, but like he actually be like mixed martial arts, right?
After decades of harvesting your data and controlling the information shown on your social media feed, he now stands for lower censorship and celebrating your First Amendment right on his platforms. He wants to gain back your trust, but why? Today we are going to uncover what is really going on behind Mark Zuckerberg's new persona. Isn't it ironic
that's the worst to be like, to have like a photo that goes like super viral and then everything looks good about it, but you got a booger. Bro, that is the worst, bro. Because no one told me, damn, did I pause it with him with the middle finger in the air?
Antisocial.
But no one told me that I had this burger in my nose. I hate being around people that don't tell you there's something on the corner of your mouth, something on your lip, on your eyebrow. Like, bro, like, be a better friend.
Harvard genius created the framework for the future of human social interaction. If you ever heard Mark have a conversation, you wouldn't exactly mistake him for a socialite.
You seem to be replacing Larry and Sergey as the people out here who everyone's talking about. You're just staring at me.
Is that a question?
Because of his awkward demeanor, frequent glitches in speech, and beady, soulless eyes, some people legitimately believe he is not human, that he is some sort of crash test dummy with AI software installed. And look,
now, I think that about Elon. Mark, he been around enough, and we've seen enough interaction with him a little bit where I don't think that too much. I think he might be a little corrupt, yes. But Elon, that man has a chip in his head. That man probably got a new heart. He ain't aged since I first seen him. And that was, bruh, he got like 6 of the most popular businesses out right now in the S&P 500. And this man ain't aged not once.
Even though I try to keep my videos mostly objective and fact-based, I also love me a good conspiracy theory. And Zuckerberg not being a real human has way too much evidence for you to not even consider it just a little bit.
But it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human, still. But
TikTok, make sure y'all smashing that like button.
Not that I was not human.
Zuckerberg, I remember well your first visit to Capitol Hill back in 2010.
Control Houston, please call station for a voice check.
But they said during the inauguration that Elon was doing the tweaking. Like, he was looking like he was glitching and shit. And Mark was there, and Mark, they didn't say nothing about Mark glitching and all that. They were saying Elon was, though.
All right, station, this is Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook. Can you hear me okay?
It's a pleasure to talk with you today.
Great to talk to you guys too. And is astronaut ice cream a real thing?
Are the allegations true that you are secretly a lizard? I'm gonna have to go with no on that. I am not a lizard.
And it makes it even harder for him to beat these allegations when he explains to Joe Rogan how basic human conversations work, as if he just made a revolutionary discovery.
Your subconscious kicks in, you start thinking about the topic. So it's like you might not actually have the thing that you want to say until like 5 minutes later. Right. And like when we started this conversation, I think like the first few minutes were just kind of slow. It's like warming up. Like, I'm like, okay, kind of like downloading into my memory. Like how am I gonna like just explain these different things, but it's yeah, no, I just think that's sort of how people work.
However, we do know that CEOs transform their image and speech to be kind of robotic on purpose. They do rigorous media
I
training.
feel like, man, anybody that is in this line of work that has to deal with a lot of people, that has to be strategic, has to take ownership of what they say, has to be PR trained, all that. They definitely speak a little bit slower. Like some days when I'm on stream, I'm like, damn, I really should start speaking a little bit slower. But I know that slow conversation, slow like responses and stuff is not entertaining. So I rather slip up and might say some shit that I probably shouldn't say, or I might stutter, or I might end up, sounding crazy just based off of just the entertainment aspect and keeping people engaged and stuff like that. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. But like when you on mainstream platforms and doing interviews and stuff like that, I slow down my talking, and I understand why people like him would slow down his talking as well. So I wouldn't say that would be robotic or
one
anything.
Wrong word,
it's
even
just
a wrong display of emotion can result in overwhelming bad publicity, which could drive down the stock price and upset shareholders.
Yeah,
but
most
Mark's
definitely.
robotic demeanor has generated a vast range of conflicting opinions about him, with many believing that he is a power-hungry oligarch looking to destroy human civilization. But to understand
that's
where
Bill
those
Gates.
suspicions came from,
I believe
we
that's
must
Bill
dive
Gates'
into the dark
mission.
history of Facebook's origins. Facebook was a stolen idea. In 2004, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss wanted to create a website for Harvard students to add people as friends, send them messages, and update their personal profiles to notify friends about themselves. They called it Harvard Connection, which was later rebranded to Connect You, and they partnered with Mark Zuckerberg to build the website.
That's kinda like
But
LinkedIn,
Mark
right?
had other plans. In leaked instant messages to a friend from his college years, Mark wrote, "So you know how I'm making that dating site? I wonder how similar that is to the Facebook thing, because they're probably going to be released around the same time, unless I f*** the dating site people over and quit on them right before I told them I'd have it done." He later confirmed to that friend that he intended on screwing the Winklevosses over, and Mark did exactly that. He built Facebook while delaying Connect You, lying to the Winklevosses and not meeting deadlines, as if stealing their idea and sabotaging their company was—
And you got to think they in college at this time. So do we think, let's be completely honest, is paperwork involved? No. Word of mouth, handshakes, me just thinking that you my friend is probably the situation that's going on right now.
scummy
So they probably
enough.
don't have
Mark also showed
anything
how conniving
backing
he
that they
truly
had this
is,
idea at
attempting
first.
to destroy the Winklevoss's reputation. After he left the Connect
hey,
You team,
them
he
twins
hacked
look
into
like they
their
got some
server,
money, though.
exploited a flaw in their system, and created another Cameron Winklevoss account. Before Mark admits, "We copied his account, like his profile and everything, except I made his answers all like white supremacist." Mark was extremely aware of his twisted intentions. He even called Facebook users dumb for trusting him. And your data being in control of someone untrustworthy may not seem like a big deal, but it is. You or I could go to any data broker's website right now and buy anyone's data for a few bucks. It's completely legal. Big companies with poor security are getting—
Hey, Zori, let me hold on to your data, bruh. Ash, let me hold on to your data. Can I get that?
hacked
Let me get
every
that.
day, and your personal information is being sold on the dark web so spammers, scammers, and identity thieves can target you. If the government can do something like ban TikTok, why won't they protect you from these similar practices? It's on us to protect ourselves, which is why I use today's sponsor, Aura.
Okay.
Aura keeps information, tries VPN free. Saverin was Mark Zuckerberg's roommate, who loved the idea for Facebook. Eduardo invested $20,000 into the company and was paying for server costs, which was discovered through these leaked messages from Mark's old computer. In return, Saverin was awarded roughly a 30% stake in the company. As the vision for Facebook grew, so did the demands of building it. Mark and the other co-founders packed up and moved to Silicon Valley, the heart of tech. And
you know he crazy. Socks and sandals? No socks and sandals in the office? You got jeans on and you got a sweatshirt on, but you ain't got no socks on and your toes is out. Yeah, he not all the way there, chat. That's a individual that you gotta watch. Anybody that wears jeans and a sweatshirt in a office with his toes out, I know his toes is cold because every office I've ever been in be cold as an icicle. So the fact that his feet is out right now tells a lot about him.
Innovation to pour their
He's
energy
not all the way
into
there.
expanding
He
the
might be the
platform.
lizard that he,
Meanwhile,
he's trying to say
Eduardo
he's
moved
not.
to New York, focusing on another startup called Jaboozle. Eduardo was responsible for setting up the legal structure for Facebook, raising additional capital, and crafting a solid business plan, which he did not efficiently do according to Mark. As Facebook gained momentum, cracks in their partnership widened. Eduardo's distance from the day-to-day operations frustrated Mark, who had started collaborating closely with Silicon Valley heavyweights like Sean Parker and Peter Thiel. Eventually, Mark and his allies devised a controversial strategy. Through a series of complex and ethically questionable legal maneuvers, they restructured the company to dilute Eduardo's ownership. His stake in Facebook plummeted from 30% to just about 4% by the time Facebook went public. But Eduardo's story didn't fade quietly into the background.
There's no
Thanks
way
to
I'm
the
giving up
dramatic
that much.
courtroom battles that followed, his own accounts of the events in his book, and the $224 million box office hit movie The Social Network.
Who's seen this movie? Who's seen this movie in chat? I remember watching this movie, and it's actually a good movie. If y'all have not watched this movie, I'm pretty sure y'all can watch it for free on the internet somewhere. I'm not going to wait. Never mind. Ask me in Discord. I'll give you the website to find it. But yeah, it's actually a good informative type of like movie.
The world had an extremely negative view of Mark Zuckerberg. Mark said that the movie, quote, made up a bunch of stuff that I found kind of hurtful.
You ever end up seeing the film?
The truth is hurtful.
The Social Network?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. Oh, thanks. And what did you think?
It was interesting.
Interesting. You know what? I'll take it.
Now, some people look at Mark's past as nothing more than a cocky 19-year-old kid making teenage mistakes, while others feel that this is an extremely concerning origin story for the man who currently has control over the privacy of 3 billion people around the world. Mark has fought relentlessly to maintain an incredible amount of power at Facebook. He quite literally cannot be fired. While he only owns about 13% of the company, he also personally controls nearly 60% of the voting power of Facebook shares, because there are two kinds of Facebook stock. The Class B shares that Zuckerberg and other insiders own have 10 times the voting rights of Class A shares.
That's what the Berkshire Hathaway has two different stocks as well. And so one of them weighs more than the other one. So he took that. I did not know that you can, it was an A and a B share. I know Berkshire does that. I'm not sure of any other companies. That's the only one that I knew of. I didn't know Facebook had that. But yeah,
because of
that
Mark's
makes a lot
shady
more
past
sense.
and immense power, the press put a little bit of pressure on him. However, Mark refused to give straight answers, particularly when it came to privacy. Like in 2010, when he was asked a very simple question and began to sweat profusely, panicking for seemingly no reason.
Do you feel like it's a backlash, or do you feel like you're violating people's privacy? Do you feel like you're adequately portrayed as a, because I want to wonder about the person who actually created this thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff happened along the way. I think, there were real learning points and turning points along the way in terms of building things. I can't go back.
Damn, right now, I ain't gonna lie, this sounds like some bot shit right here. The way he's trying to answer this is he's like stumbling, thinking, downloading, asking ChatGPT for answers right now.
Change the past.
He's
I can only
struggling.
do what we think is the right thing going forward.
So, before we move off this privacy thing, and I thought that was a fascinating answer.
It's okay. You want to take off the hoodie?
I never take off the hoodie.
I know you don't. What's with that?
No.
Girls?
Oh, he up there sweating.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
Damn, he is sweating hard, Chad.
Maybe I should take off the hoodie.
But what exactly was he hiding? Well, maybe the main driver of his revenue. Since Facebook is a free service, they make nearly all of their revenue by selling advertisements. The surface level business model is relatively simple. The more time users spend on the app, the more ads they can show. Therefore, the goal is to keep growing the user base and keep people on the app as long as possible. But the amount of data that they collect about you in order to show you these ads is not only ethically questionable, it's borderline surveillance.
So basically, anytime you talk about something, you look up something on your search engine, and then those ads start popping up, is because they have that y'all have accepted certain terms for them to be able to have that kind of data to breach into what you're searching and looking up. Anytime you click on an ad on Facebook, you watch the ad more than once or twice, you comment on something, like something, that is giving you more information on what you like. So that's what's pushing those ads towards you.
They receive your
and
credits.
that's why the big controversy of TikTok is because they see how much that the user time has went down on these other apps compared to this TikTok app, where now everybody's spending hours. And remember, they were saying that it's bad for the kids. The kids are on it for too long. They're just brain rotting, scrolling too long. They were getting upset because all of people's engagement and time was being used on TikTok. And so that's one of the real reasons on why they want TikTok, is because they know people love to be on TikTok. So how can we be able to get some of that data or the data from TikTok to be able to go onto other apps so they can start pushing this advertisement, since TikTok's getting all of the data, at the moment, because no one of our generation's on Facebook like that. Our grandma, grandpa, parents are still on there. I might hop on there to post like a photo, or to keep someone updated, a birthday maybe, but I'm not on there just scrolling. If you on Facebook scrolling in 2025, bro, you might as well just call yourself uncle and auntie at this point.
Score, your IDs, physical locations, political and religious beliefs, all of your text messages, microphone access, web browsing history. They quite literally get access to your entire life just because you want to use their app and they want to sell you specialized advertisements. Then again, you did agree to their terms of service,
there goes,
and
terms
you
of
do
service,
have the ability to opt out. But the practices they use to keep you on the app is nearing psychological warfare. In 2016, a whirlwind of chaos erupted. We had the most turbulent presidential election in history, the Brexit referendum, and billions of people spending more time than ever before online. And Facebook decided to change the way their algorithm worked. Mark wrote in an update letter, "We will also prioritize posts that spark conversations and meaningful interactions between people. To do this, we will predict which posts you might want to interact with your friends about, and show these posts higher in feed." Now the problem was what the algorithm deemed.
And that's why we have a different side. You know how they, even on Twitter, where they're like, it's black Twitter, white Twitter, or just on any social media where it pushes an agenda so much on certain things, because at the end of the day, they get to choose what is being pushed onto your platform. And not all the time, it's not like an ad. An ad is going to tell you, boom, 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 this is the ad that I need to, this is what you search, this is what you're talking about, this is what I need to push. It's not like that with your social media. TikTok has the only algorithm enough that's where if you like, repost, it's going to keep on showing you that same type of content over and over and over again. I could get on Instagram right now and it's going to show me something that I've never liked before. It's going to bring up these freaking corn models that, like AI corn models and all that. Like, I've never liked that stuff. I'm not following that kind of stuff. It's gonna push the shade room, even though I don't follow the shade room, and so they get to choose the agenda that they got on these platforms. TikTok's the only one where it really comes down to you making your own algorithm. You can literally make your own algorithm on TikTok, which that's what I love.
As the most meaningful content. For the most politically oriented 1 million American users, nearly 90% of the content that Facebook shows them is about politics and social issues. Now combine that with an even bigger problem, political and social issues that made people angry were designed to reach the tops of people's feeds. The algorithm had assigned reaction emojis, including the angry emoji, 5 times the weight of a simple like, according to company documents.
Whoa,
this meant that
crazy.
Millions and millions of people were essentially trapped in an echo chamber of argumentative content about political and social issues. But it gets worse. A private company with sinister intentions was able to obtain private data from Facebook due to inadequate oversight. Remember those goofy personality quizzes you'd see back in the day on Facebook? Well, chances are if you took one, you helped fuel political propaganda. Alexander Kogan created an app called This Is Your Digital Life. The app was presented as a personality quiz that required users to be logged into Facebook Facebook to take. So not only did it collect the quiz
hey,
data,
Facebook
but
used
also
to have
all of the personal
mad
information
surveys.
that Facebook takes from you. The app also accessed data from users' friends without their explicit consent.
Y'all remember all them
Kogan
surveys that
harvested
used to
information
happen?
from up to 87 million Facebook profiles and sold the data to Cambridge Analytica, who then created psychological profiles of Americans for targeted political advertising, deep diving into their exploitable traits obtained from Facebook likes.
And this is why they're so scared of TikTok, because they've done the corrupt shit. They've done the things that they probably shouldn't have done. They know how far it can be taken. They know what the data could do, what you could do with the data. They know because they've done the dark side of it already. If I've already exposed what can possibly happen, why would I not think that someone else is going to do it if they have that kind of have that data? I keep saying data. I don't know how to say it, so I'm going to say both of them. So correct me. Don't charge it to my heart. But yeah. I feel like they're the reason why they're so scared of TikTok is because they've done the dark side of what possibly someone else can do with that kind of information.
The Kenyatta campaign, which we ran in 2013 and 2017 for Kenyatta.
And what you have done in the Kenya?
We have rebranded the entire party twice, written their manifesto, done 2 rounds of 50,000 surveys.
Huge amounts of research, analysis, messaging.
And then we'd write all the speeches and we'd stage the whole thing. So just about every element of his campaign.
But Mark vehemently denies that social media contributes to political radicalization or polarization.
Grounding this conversation in the actual research that has been done on this, which by and large finds that social media is not a large driver of polarization. So the question is, what are the unique phenomena in the different places?
How can you be... You know what? Never mind. I guess he wears the goggles in the sun tanning bed. Because, like, how can he be tanned everywhere but the eyes? Like,
and I think for the people who are trying to say,
I guess he's wearing those, like,
is the thing that's
cucumbers
doing this,
or something, right?
I think that clearly doesn't hold up, because social media is a phenomenon that is pretty much equivalent in all of these different countries.
Now, in all fairness, this is exactly how
what
we
he's
would
talking about,
expect
the
him to
metaverse?
respond. But this raises an even more important question. Is it Facebook's civic responsibility to regulate these radical individuals' behavior? Or is it the user that needs to take accountability for their own actions and beliefs? But is it even their fault if they are being psychologically manipulated by algorithms? Or more importantly, are these politically charged posts even being made by real people? Yes, Facebook is a private company, but have they become too big, too powerful?
That goes back to me talking about expanding the mind, y'all. Expanding the mind is so important, and not allowing conversation to alter the way you think about something, but enlighten you on a different perspective or different way someone might view that subject. Always listen to what someone has to say and take it with a grain of salt. But you should not feel persuaded to change your beliefs or the way you think about certain things. But just because someone believes and thinks about something differently doesn't mean that you have to have hatred towards that person. No, it's just a different thought process, because you never know what they could be pushed on social media. Their algorithm could be a lot different than yours, so they've been manipulated in such of what they've seen to think a certain way about a situation compared to what you have been seeing, what you have thought about it, because you've been pushed a certain type of narrative. You feel me?
5% of America uses one of Meta's products. Therefore, they have direct influence over 2/3 of the country. This resulted in Facebook getting slammed in the media, specifically blaming them for spreading political misinformation that they believe led to the election of Donald Trump.
I was really worried from the beginning about basically.
What's up, everybody that's
becoming
joining in?
this
If y'all
sort
can
of
tap the screen, I really
decider
appreciate
of
it.
What is true in the world, right? That's like kind of a crazy position to be in for billions of people using your service.
So the company invested in a complicated bureaucratic operation of independent third-party fact-checkers globally who are certified through the Nonpartisan International Fact-Checking Network. Unfortunately, this system wasn't deemed to be good enough or accepted by really anyone. but more specifically the US government. So they called Mark Zuckerberg in for a congressional hearing in regards to Facebook's privacy and use and abuse of data, and this could not have gone any worse for Mark Zuckerberg.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. My ears don't move when I smile. I guess they move a little bit, but they don't move like that.
His robotic speech was worse than ever. He was looking incredibly nervous, looking like he had to remind himself that humans have to blink and drink water occasionally. He sat on a booster seat to make himself appear taller. His face was pale white. His eyebrows were non-existent. He had a terrible haircut and there was no soul in his eyes. He looked like an avatar of himself and it was creepy. But what he said was even worse than how he looked.
Senator, I think
Yeah, this court case was insane. We were talking about it a little bit earlier.
Protecting minors and protecting their privacy is extremely important, and we do a number of things on Facebook to do that already, which I'm happy to get into.
And I appreciate. I'm talking about a law. I'm talking about a law. Would you support a privacy bill of rights for kids?
You know what's crazy? He was under heat before TikTok, and he should have stayed under heat, but he used TikTok to blind everybody from what he was doing, and it took off heat from what he was going through. If it wasn't for TikTok, he would probably still be under this hot seat. But I don't know how he pushed that narrative into Congress, but it definitely got him, a get out of jail free card for sure.
The standard. Yes or no?
Senator, I think that's an important principle, and
I appreciate that.
And I think we should.
Do we need a law to protect those children? That's my question. Do you believe we need a law?
See, that's the same stuff they was talking about TikTok, right? Protect the
Senator,
children.
I'm not sure if we need a law, but I think that this is certainly a thing that deserves a lot of discussion.
I couldn't disagree with you more. We're leaving.
Like usual, he couldn't give a straight answer. He is a professional corporate question dodger.
Do they provide the same service you provide?
In different ways, different parts of it, yes.
Let me put it this way. If I buy a Ford and it doesn't work well and I don't like it, I can buy a Chevy. If I'm upset with Facebook, what's the equivalent product that I can go sign up for?
It was TikTok. What is that? The simple right there. Your TikTok was the answer to this man's question, but now he's the same guy that's probably was like, we gotta get rid of TikTok. TikTok's so bad for the U.S. Probably the same exact guy that voted against TikTok, but you was asking for him to have another
second category that I was going to talk about.
Another option. The world to have another option.
Is there real competition you face?
Yes, Senator. The average American uses 8 different apps to communicate with their friends and stay in touch with people, ranging from texting apps to email.
Is the same service you provide?
Well, we provide a number of different services.
Is Twitter the same as what you do?
It overlaps with a portion of what we do.
You don't think you have a monopoly?
It certainly doesn't feel like that to me.
Okay.
So after 5 hours of painstaking investigation, the American people learned basically nothing about how Facebook works, what they do with user data, and it did not immediately result in changes in legislation. However, in regards to the Cambridge Analytica scandal, in 2019, the Federal Trade Commission fined Facebook $5 billion for privacy violations. Facebook stole your data, and the government got a payday.
It's tough to be at the other end of that.
That's crazy. Crazy work.
Well, it's not good. I think
crazy world we live in.
The thing that I think is actually the toughest, though,
stealing our stuff and getting paid $5 billion for it.
And really, when you think about it, the U.S. government should be defending its companies. I do think that the American technology industry is a bright spot in the American economy. I think it's a strategic advantage for the United States that we have a lot of the strongest companies in the world. I think it should be part of the U.S.'s strategy going forward to defend that.
But it was about to get worse. If you thought the world was chaotic during the 2016
Now, I ain't
election,
gonna lie to you. That lady looks like it's a mask on right there. I don't trust older people. They got too many wrinkles. like I don't know if that's real or not, especially in politics. Like, I feel like you could put that mask on and make it look really real.
it pales in comparison to the 2020 pandemic. People were locked inside, petrified of getting sneezed on, the virus death toll seemed to be exponentially increasing, and different information came out every day about the proper protocol to stop the spread. Zuckerberg 100% confirmed suspicions that the government was pushing a controlled narrative about the pandemic.
While they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who is basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is inarguably true.
Now, at the time, if you thought mass censorship was happening, you would have been called a conspiracy theorist. But today, Mark seemingly has the confidence to criticize the US government, specifically criticizing the Biden administration after they lost the 2024 election.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse. And it's like, these documents it's all kind of out there.
This is what "I'm sorry, I want to be on the winning side" looks like. Many people believe that Zuckerberg is pandering to the renaissance of private citizens demanding less censorship and less government control over information.
Because this is the same interview he was calling out Apple and saying they're not being innovative. He was calling out Apple pretty much to the fullest.
And he's shifting all of the blame to the Biden administration that is no longer in power and being like, oh my God, the government is so corrupt, right, guys?
Like, but I want to know, okay, so if the government is against these social media platforms, then where do they expect to get, like, if they got rid of these platforms, Rich, I don't think they're against it to get rid of it. I think they're against it because they don't have more control of it. If that makes sense. Like, even with Mark Zuckerberg, he's probably getting funded through the government, but the data is still can be moved around, used, touched, sold, shared as much as he wants. All they could do is pretty much to say, oh, you've done something wrong, I'm gonna fine you, this is how we'll get paid from it. In TikTok's sense, I feel like the government wants to be able to have a part of the data that is being and have a say so in what is done with the data. They can't do that with Facebook. They've already been through that. You know, like, I'm pretty sure they've already tried with that. With TikTok, this is still something so new that they can still get a hold of and have somewhat control. And Facebook's an American company. TikTok's not. So they can have some kind of lean way and have more of an argument on them being able to get more control of the data and what is done with it and what's used with the data. They've already, like I said before, they're scared of what possibly can happen with the data because they've seen the dark side already of what can be done with our data. And Facebook has done the dark shit already. So they know what could possibly happen if, these people decided to do it.
Isn't just blaming the government. He is also blaming the third-party fact-checking organization he hired for being too biased. This has resulted in a major change in content policy on Facebook.
First, we're going to get rid of fact-checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote non-stop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact-checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
But why can't X do it? Literally, why can't X do it? We literally just look at this. We literally just seen something on X where they have these fact-checkers. Boom, let me see. I literally could just scroll. It was something about so I know everybody has seen them. I'm going to try to scroll and see if I can find one. But basically, if it's a negative, if something's being lied about, like a fact checker will pop up at the bottom. Have y'all seen those on Twitter? Oh, here it goes. Look at this. It's with Kai. So it says Castanet's viewers worried about he posting a Snapchat story of him crying and claim his new girlfriend cheated on him, right? And it's the video of him crying. People are posting it. But then the fact checker pops up and says, this clip is nearly 1 year old and got uploaded by the same guy a long time ago to create controversy. This post contains an ad of Rainbit, which is an ad, and gambling site promoting gambling. These are the fact checkers. It's on TikTok too. That's what I'm saying. Why can't Instagram and Facebook do this? A little suspicious. Y'all are making complaint. Y'all are complaining about something that is being done. Y'all just don't want to put the money into it to do it because it can be done. Or y'all don't want to do it because it'll expose a lot. You won't be able to have a certain type of agenda for certain demographics. You won't be able to push certain things to certain people because it'll be getting fact checked and people will be like, not interested. That's the beautiful part about the fact checker. All I gotta do is just say, not interested, don't want to see again, don't want this on my TL again, and it fixes the problem.
Checking politicians.
They don't want that on Instagram.
Meta ultimately decided how to respond to the fact checks, adding warning labels, limiting the reach of some content, or even removing the posts. This, again, just furthered the idea for people that he is trying to absolve himself or his employees of any blame for being a part of the machine used to control narratives, amplify hate, suppress facts, and ultimately divide Americans. And whether or not this is a clever smokescreen or a genuine concern, it is clear that Mark does understand some major shifts in public discourse.
They trust the creators and the voices that they feel like are being authentic and giving them valuable information on there. So there's, I think,
bro, that says Joe Rogan experienced 2,255 episodes. God, dog. 2,255 episodes.
To be just this whole new class of creators who basically become the new kind of cultural elites that people look at and are like, okay, these are the people who give it to me straight. I think that's a thing that is, maybe it's possible because of social media.
But why does Mark all of a sudden feel like he needs to speak out against these issues? He says it's not because of the election, but then immediately contradicts that by saying how they tried to make company decisions based on whatever the mainstream opinion
is. He just doesn't want the hot seat
again.
At
this point, I think
he wants
a lot of people
point the finger at other
like
people.
A purely political thing. You know, it's because they kind of look at the timing and they're like, hey, well, you're doing this right after the election. It's like, okay, I try not to like change our content rules like right in the middle of an election either, right? It's like there's not like a great time to do this. It's,
right.
You know,
and you want to do it a year later.
Yeah, it's like there's no good time to do it. There's,
right.
You know, and whatever time is going on, there's going to be. The good thing about doing it after the election is you get to take this kind of cultural pulse as like, okay, where are people right now, and how are people thinking about it? We try to have policies that reflect, mainstream discourse.
Shifting gears after an election cycle.
One app that you don't see a lot of controversy about, I never see in these kind of situations. Why do we never hear about YouTube? I don't ever hear about YouTube in these kind of data conversations.
Isn't exclusive to Facebook. Businesses of this size are always
cautiously
straddling the fine
easily.
line between opposing ideologies, doing their best to stay attractive in a turbulent political climate. But many believe that the only reason his perfectly timed shift in ideology is even remotely believable is because of his physical transformation, that this is all a highly calculated PR campaign. Nobody would buy a single word he is saying if it was coming from the
He do look scary, chat, right here. This is, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. He looked completely different. Looked like a whole different person. He trying to be cool like Napoleon Dynamite right here.
Because of his physical transformation, that this is all a highly calculated PR campaign. Nobody would buy a single word he is saying if it was coming from the empty-eyed, pale-skinned, horrible haircut, and robotic speech Mark Zuckerberg. The last time he tried to relate to us mortals, it made him look less human than ever.
I like racing. I don't know how many of you guys like doing that, but that's, I feel like all these activities, grilling meats, racing cars.
Grilling, all these activities, grilling meats. Yo, what?
Probably two of the most fun things that you can do.
So yeah.
So he traded in the prim and proper cut for some
Chad, do y'all
modern
think he a
messy
lizard?
curls, replaced the boring gray shirts for an oversized boxy fit
With a
streetwear
chain
tee
now.
and a long gold chain. But it doesn't stop
That
at the
man put a
surface.
chain
Mark
on.
even ditched the sedentary office lifestyle for the action-packed world of mixed
USC,
martial arts,
yeah.
training with some of the most lethal fighters in the world. He often posts his black eyes and injuries, and even says that he would like to one day compete in a real MMA match. Suddenly, he becomes less of an enigma and more like someone you might meet at a local gym, grappling with the same struggles and setbacks as any aspiring athlete.
That
He
is
has expressed
a
a newfound love for
transformation
hunting.
of a person. He
even
went
vowed
from
that
grilling
he
to
will
wanting
only
to
eat
fight.
meat that he has killed himself. And with this transformation, Mark thinks he has you fooled. He thinks that you can't tell that this is a PR campaign.
But when you're fighting, it's like, no, that's like, I think in some ways when people see me competing in this sport, they're like, oh no, that's the real Mark. It's like, because it goes back to all the media training stuff we were talking about. When I'm going and giving my sound bites for 2 minutes, it's like, no, it's like, fuck that guy. It's like, that's the real one.
But why does he need you to like him or
Yeah,
trust
why
him?
does he keep
is
on,
nearly
like,
the richest
trying to
man in the world. He has over 3 billion people
persuade
using
us
his
to
products.
believe.
What more could he possibly need? Well, it could be argued that he is only now contributing to the narrative that our current world is borderline dystopian in hopes that those listening will flee to a world that he created, a world that he calls the metaverse.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, he ain't slick, chap. The metaverse did, like, it was a thing. It fell off because it wasn't its time. But it's slowly creeping back up on us, chat. Like when those when those, like the metaverse and the what was the, I guess now because crypto, and what was it called? The pictures. They were selling those pictures. They were selling those pictures of like monkeys and stuff like that for a hell of money. You bought metaverse crypto? Oh, Jesus.
Zuckerberg
part of the
rebranded the company
issue.
as Meta
You
on
funding
October
his
28th,
NFTs.
2021.
Yeah.
Conveniently,
It
during the
had
heat of
fell
the
off, but I'm like, it's low key. Ever since Apple brought out those glasses, virtual reality's been more of a thing now when it comes to like video games and just everyday experience, I guess. You got the glasses. They came out with the glasses now where you can have your phone on the glasses. You can touch stuff. I'm like, it's slowly creeping back around. Metaverse is creeping back
he
around.
revealed a new plan for an embodied internet
Roblox.
experience, explaining it as a way to be inside of or one with the content, rather than viewing it on a screen.
You saw the ad yesterday? Oh, we gotta check out the ad after this. I didn't see a metaverse ad.
All right, perfect.
Boy.
Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Mark. What's up, Mark?
Whoa, we're floating in space? Uh-huh. Who made
Hey,
this?
these kind of look
place?
real
That's
too,
awesome.
though.
Right?
Like the people.
It's from a crater I met in LA.
This place is amazing.
Boz, that
This
you?
don't look like a
Of course
bit
it's me.
emoji.
You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the robot.
Look at her hair.
In
Her
true
hair even
Zuckerberg
looked kind of
fashion,
real.
He didn't create the metaverse. He just stole the name to make everyone think it was his brainchild. The metaverse is more of a general description of any immersive virtual world where people can work, play, and socialize. Roblox and VRChat are considered metaverse platforms. However, Facebook's version is called Meta Horizon Worlds, and it's an abysmal failure. Most people think this is just a bad video game with no storyline, no purpose, and horrible graphics. But Mark Zuckerberg genuinely believes that this is the future of human civilization, that we will all one day work, socialize, and play in this reality that he created. But it's not working. After
Will we
investing
get paid
$36
in it?
billion into this new venture, Horizon was only used by about 200.
Because they, and essentially, right? If GTA comes out and GTA provides opportunities and figures out a way where people can get paid through a video game, they can make money through a video game. We won't be far off from that metaverse and other VR worlds implementing these kind of things, especially in a society where we know that people want to be creators. They want to work from home. They want to do less work but get paid for it. TikTok proved that. TikTok proved that a lot of people will do whatever it takes to be at home and making money from behind a screen. So if a video game like GTA finds out a way where we can make money in this, why wouldn't metaverse VR worlds create different tasks and jobs for you to do and make money from? It's kind of like the that supermarket game that I played. Remember how I told y'all I had to stop playing that supermarket game because I felt like it was another job. I was doing 4 or 5 hours playing it, like actually being in a supermarket. And I'm like, yo, I'm locked in on this shit, and I'm locked in on this more than I am my real job. That's exactly how people are going to feel in the metaverse. Let me have a character be able to socialize with other people on some glasses. That's a scary situation right there, chat. Scary situation right there.
100,000 monthly users at its peak. Since then, it's been dropping in user base drastically. They got so desperate for new users that in August of 2024, they lowered the age gate to 10-year-olds, hoping to get the unsupervised youth addicted to his platform. But despite VR not going exactly to plan, Meta recently launched Orion, their augmented reality glasses that merge the digital and physical landscape.
I do want to get
right now, yeah, because I mean, right now we have our phones, but we're like it takes you away from like the physical environment around you.
You get paid for the worlds
you're kind of like sucked into this little screen. I think now in the future, our computing platform, as it becomes more of like a glasses or eventually contact lens form factor, the internet is going to get overlaid on the physical world.
And if you can get past the big goofy frames, this does seem like ugly, really cool technology that has been glamorized in sci-fi movies. I ain't outside wearing those. But all it took was a couple motivated college students to show.
Now there's a different brand that have like the camera on it and stuff like that. What are those? Are those Oakleys or something like that? It's a different brand that actually kind of look like real glasses, and they just have a camera on it, and you can't really tell.
I know a lot of people make like glasses provide.
The prank videos. They be making those prank videos and stuff like that. Oh, they have Ray Metas now. Ray Metas. Well, I know it's some that they do a lot of prank videos with, and it's just got the camera on it. So
we built glasses that let you identify anybody on the street.
To use it, you just put the glasses on. Then as you walk by people, the glasses will detect when
okay, those might be it.
This photo is used to analyze them, and after a few seconds, their personal information pops up on your phone.
Oh, this is me volunteering.
What?
By people, the glasses will detect when somebody's face is in frame. This photo is used to analyze them, and after a few seconds, their personal information pops up on your phone.
Oh, this is me volunteering.
June Lee, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
This photo was great. This is like from.
You're from Bergen County Academies?
Yeah.
Your Korean name is Ju-eun?
If that's what 2 bored college students could create, imagine what a $268 billion company could do. But the only thing Zuckerberg believes in more than the metaverse is artificial intelligence. Mark dubbed 2023 the year of efficiency, with Meta relying on...
the only thing that I don't like, if it's on Google and it's Googleable, like most people, our stuff is Googleable, right? The only thing I just don't like is back then, now, you have to let people know what your name is. What's your name? What's your social media? Now no one even has to introduce themselves to you. All they have to do is walk by you, take a photo, and it automatically pulls up all your information. Name, where you from, your Instagram, your profiles, where you went to school, what degrees you have, if you've graduated or not. Like where you work. Oh my gosh. And I don't have to freaking say hello or hi to you at all. And I got all that information from you.
What is a cold world, which has resulted in tremendous layoffs. 86,482 people worked for Meta in 2022. Today, 67,317 people work there. That is 19,195 layoffs, or a 22% decrease in the workforce. But Zuckerberg thinks that this is actually a positive thing for humanity, that they will have more time to be creative.
A lot of the code in our apps and including the AI that we generate is actually going to be built by AI engineers instead of people engineers. But I don't know. I think that'll augment the people working on it. So I mean, my view on this is like the future, people are just going to be so much more creative and are going to be freed up to do kind of crazy things.
Juju says, So what happens if someone's information doesn't pop up at all? They off the grid? Or are they even real? Are they even a person? Will we be able to know who's a lizard and who's not? Because I believe they're out here.
And despite his relentless push for more AI and VR, despite him leading the charge to fuse computers and humans together so that they are one master species, the scariest thing that Mark Zuckerberg is doing is—
you're going to be able to know if somebody is a pet or not. Oh my gosh. You're literally going to be able to walk by somebody and be like, hey, registered pet. Has been a convicted felon for 5 years. Oh my God.
Spending all of his time learning the most primal human skills. Take one scroll on Mark's Instagram and he is constantly posting from his isolated island ranch in the middle of the ocean, hunting, fishing, raising cattle, and learning how to defend himself. It's almost like he is preparing for a catastrophic event. He spent $187 million on 1,600 acres of land on the island of Kauai. This island is also not dependent on tourism, which means that it is currently self-sustaining and survivable. But even if it's not, he is building a 5,000 square foot underground bunker complete with its own energy and food supplies. He even shared a video to his Instagram of a massive movie theater built underground, so at least he won't be bored.
You do have a bunker there. Is there something you know that we don't?
I think that's
just like a little shelter under, and it's like a
little shelter. What are you worried about?
A billionaire who can artificially control the information of 3 billion people is not your friend. Mark likely doesn't want to connect with others in the metaverse, but he does want you and your kids there. And the money that you make for him will be used to keep himself isolated on one of the most beautiful, resource-abundant wonders of the world. He will spend the rest of his days having deep conversations with friends, singing songs to his children around a campfire, cooking feasts for his pack using antibiotic-free cattle that they raised, and fresh produce with 0 chemicals and preservatives. He will hunt, fish, fight, and learn how to build things with his hands. He will breathe fresh air, drink fresh water, and enjoy all the precious God-given resources in an age-old utopia.
No
you,
way!
on the other hand, will own nothing, live in perpetual debt, spend nearly 100% of your time in the virtual world chasing fleeting moments of pleasure while your physical body withers away. Artificial intelligence will operate as an untouchable ruling class, controlling every facet of existence.
Did you hear that? Did y'all hear that?
Resources in an age-old utopia. You, on the other hand, will own nothing, live in perpetual debt, spend nearly 100% of your time in the virtual world chasing fleeting moments of pleasure while your physical body withers away. Artificial intelligence will operate as an untouchable ruling class, controlling every facet of existence, optimizing society for profit while suppressing what little remains of human autonomy. You will be trapped in a dystopian hellscape, and you will love it.
Hell no. I'm good, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. W freaking video, Pat. W video. I love the breakdown on that video. That video was very in-depth, very informative, and I think a lot of people will look at this video for time to be and rewatch it, and we will love to see what happens in the next future, the future. If some of your predictions come right, and some of the things that we spoke about as actually comes together. Man, if y'all got to the end of this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, share the video out to a friend. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.